Alright, in today's lesson we are going to solve a system of equations involving a word problem. In yesterday's example we talked about the idea of a picture puzzle, and that was supposed to kind of lead us into what we're doing today with our word problems. And just like yesterday, there's 4 steps to it. First thing we have to do is define our variables, as in basically answer the question, what are we trying to solve? Okay, write a system of equations. That means we need to write 2 equations based upon the information given. Solve the system using either substitution or linear combination. And then lastly, we just have to explain what our solution means in terms of the problem. Alright, so let's dive right in. In our very first example, we have that there are 34 questions on a test. Some of the questions on the test are worth 3 points and some are worth 5 points. The test altogether is worth 130 points. How many 3-point questions are there? How many 5-point questions are there? Alright, so when I go to define my variables, it's based upon these 2 parts right here. So I can simply use x and y, and for the very first part, defining our variables, I'm going to say x is equal to the number of 3-point questions. Okay, and then y is equal to the number of 5-point questions. Alright, so now we've defined our variables. Alright, so now what we have to do is we have to write our equation based upon the information given. Well, to start, we look at the very first part. There are 34 questions on the test. So we're going to write an equation dealing with the number of questions on the test. Well, that means that the number of 3-point questions plus the number of 5-point questions has to equal 34 total questions. And that's our first equation, dealing with the number of items. The second equation is going to deal with the second part. The 3-point and 5 points have a total worth of 130 points. So that means that 3 times the number of 3-point questions plus 5 times the number of 5-point questions should equal 130 points. And that's my system of equations. So I've done part 2. Part 3, we have to solve this system. So I'm just going to simply take this top equation and I'm going to multiply it by -3, and the reason I'm going to do that is that'll give me a -3x, which will now be the opposite of the 3x in the second equation, and I have to distribute the -3x to all 3 pieces, so that gives me a -3y, and then -3 times 34 gives me a -102. When I go to add these 2 equations together, okay, I end up having the x's cancel out. I get 2y is equal to 28. When I divide by 2, I get y is equal to 14. So that means that the number of 5-point questions, there are 14 of them. Now I take my y value and I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to plug it into this equation right here. So x plus 14 equals 34. If I subtract my 14 to both sides, I get x is equal to 20. So that means that there are 20 3-point questions. So the last thing I simply have to do is simply write an equation and just say that there are 20 3-point questions and 14 5-point questions. That's it. That's all you have to do. I'm not looking for a novel. You don't have to write Shakespeare. All you got to do is write a sentence simply explaining what the 14 and the 20 mean. That's it. So we did our 4 steps. Okay. First step was to define our variables. We wrote our equations. We solved. We wrote our sentence. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at number 2. Okay. In this one, you are buying decorations for a birthday party. You get 3 rolls of crepe paper and 20 balloons and pay $11.40. You realize you didn't get enough of each, so you go back and get 2 more rolls of crepe paper and 10 more balloons. This time your bill is $7.20. What is the price of each roll of crepe paper and balloon? So there are your 2 things that you're trying to solve. So there's our 2 variables. X is equal to the price of crepe paper, and then Y is equal to the price of balloons. Okay, so there's step 1. Check. We define our variables. Now what we do is we have to write our equations. So the very first one comes from the first sentence, which says, or second sentence, which says you get 3 rolls of crepe paper and 20 balloons and pay $11.40. So that means 3 X's, 3 rolls of crepe paper, plus 20 Y, 20 balloons, equals $11.40. My second equation is going to be coming from the third sentence, which says that 2 more rolls of crepe paper and 10 balloons cost $7.20. So that means that 2x plus 10y is equal to $7.20. Alright, I'm still going to use the idea of linear combination to solve. So remember we talked about how you just multiply the top equation by the number in front of the bottom, and then the bottom equation by the coefficient of the x in the first one. So I'm going to take this top equation, I'm going to multiply it by 2. That's going to give me a 6x here. So then I'm going to take the bottom equation, I'm going to multiply it by 3. That'll give me a 6x. But I need a negative, so I'm going to make this one negative. Alright, so now when I distribute my 2, I get a 6x plus 40y equal to $22.80. And when I distribute my negative 3, I get negative 6x, I get negative 30y, and I get a negative $21.60. Alright, so when I go to add these 2 together, the x's cancel. 40 minus 30 is 10y. $22.80 minus $21.60 leaves me with, let's see, that would be $1.20. Okay, and if I divide by 10 and divide by 10, y ends up equaling 12 cents. Okay, so 12 cents for a balloon. Now I have to take that and I'm going to plug it into one of the equations. I'm going to plug it into the bottom one, simply because the numbers are smaller. So 2x plus 10 times 12 cents is equal to $7.20. So 2x plus $1.20 equals $7.20. Subtract the $1.20, and that means that 2x is equal to $6, and so that means x is equal to 3. Alright, so the last thing I got to do after figuring out what my x and y are is I simply have to write in a sentence. So all I'm going to do is simply say that crepe paper costs $3 and balloons cost 12 cents. Okay, and that's it. I'm done. Alright, come with questions tomorrow and we'll work on some more word problems in class.